makes a live stream. Ha ha ha.
Cloud,
Yeah.
you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tried to understand. All I had was music, man, and music was my one night stand. The Alphatower.
Pi.A makes a live stream. Ha ha ha.
Cloud,
Yeah.
you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tried to understand. All I had was music, man, and music was my one night stand. The Alphatower of depressed situations. And now I'm sitting on my throne. If you can make it, man, then throw me out of my own throne. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Then throw me out of my own throne. Push play.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everybody, I hope you can see me because I'm looking the stream right now and can't see that you guys can see me. Wait. Now, finally. Okay. So, welcome to the first Cloudfighter streaming from somebody have no idea how to stream. I'm Pi.A, I'm your host for this evening, and I'm the founder of Cloudfighter Music. And today we will talk about the why, the how, and the what about, all about cloud fighting. And I have a very special guest for today. And I will show him now to you guys. Say hello and put all your hearts and all your emojis and everything into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Folkpunk. Yeah, it's leaking. You just it's okay. We are leaking today, but it all is there. So now I will go back into full mood so we can see each other. So for everybody having knowing how to stream, I'm a newbie, I have no clue, and I'm sorry for the leak right now, but we will deal with it. How we do it, I don't know. So it's all just learning by doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, applause to Folkpunk, one of the diehardest cloud fighters I met within the last year. And I'm so excited to have him here today. Folkpunk, nice to meet you. Hi.
Nice.
Welcome.
Hello. Guten Abend. Did I say that right?
Yeah, kind of. Guten Abend. Guten Abend.
I actually listened to it and I'm like, that doesn't sound like it's spelled. So I tried to write it out, but obviously I haven't said it enough in German. So
yeah. So I hope I can see we have 5 seconds delay or something, but I don't know. It is how it is. But we can hear each other without delay. That's good. So Folkpunk, cloud fighting. I think we should explain to our viewers what cloud fighting is. Maybe there's a younger person in between which say, oh, this is black and white, looks cool, I want to join the stream and look what they do. And for sure, for the people like you knowing what cloud fighting is, I will say a couple of words to it. Cloud fighting is the ability to convert past energy negativity around you, inside you, like life struggle into a very huge superpower, making you feel confident, making you feel better, making you give you like the fuel to create a new life, like a new start with power. And I would like to directly give over the word to you. Can you explain, or would you mind to tell us how you like entered your cloud? When do you meet your cloud of doubt?
I think,
This
well,
week.
something that's, been there all life, but the darkest cloud that I faced was back in 2000 when I went through a divorce. And, we all have our own scars. Mine is scars of the heart. And, there are many ways to get through those kinds of times. There's faith, there's science, there are good people around you, and they can all help, but you don't have control in those ways. And something I was able to add in, because I had always played music and written music, and usually it was more from the angst of what I'd see in society around me. I turned that into controlling the cloud rather than the cloud controlling me. And I used that experience and those feelings and those doubts and that trauma as fuel to produce things. And I had really done it for myself. It wasn't something I intended to put out and have other people hear and enjoy or listen to. It was for myself. It was part of catharsis. And when I found your material and I saw your mission statement, I said, oh my God, that is exactly what I've been trying to do myself for myself.
Before you found Cloudfighter's music, like I have a name now, guys. I call myself Cloudfighter Music, like the music I do. Before I already do that, like back to the day when you go through that negativity, the darkness, you go through that divorce, and divorce is always bad, like nothing good about it, nothing to say, oh, let's see that positive. It's always like life changing and day changing. How do you feel back then? Do you feel lonely? Do you feel lost? And like, for example, the first week after that divorce, how did we all have to imagine you back then?
I had my two sons, so I had to perform of some level. I had to maintain my job. I was a teacher. I was in the same school as my ex-wife. And people in the school had said from December until April of that school year that in December I was given an award as the I don't know, most enthusiastic or or whatever. I had become a zombie. People said just my whole demeanor, my whole being, my light was gone. It was shadowed in a cloud, and I thought it had been extinguished. I didn't think there was light left. But it was through music and then listening to that music over and over and over again that I was able to have a new perspective, and a perspective of, rather than being defeated by these things, I was going to make them part of who I was, and I was going to turn it into how I would want someone to see me turn it into, something I could feel like I didn't want to hide, that maybe someone else might get an idea from it, because you never know who's watching when you're going through anything. You never know.
Yeah, that's totally right, and I can totally agree. When we found something in life making us, just like giving us the fuel to come out of that shell and say, hey life, I'm back again, I'm stronger. And that's, by the way, the reason I wrote that with 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝘆, like Back Again, that song.
Yes.
So it's all inspired by that, but like far away before the music steps into your life, like back to that cloud. What was the worst thought you had in that time before you found back the light, like before that happy end, like when we stay a little in that darkness to find people maybe feeling the same, to show them that they're not alone, like people like us, we feel the same.
Yeah, we're human. You know, again, if I did not have my two young boys and I had them the majority of the time, what we call here placement, um, the moments where they would be with their mom and I didn't have them. Um, and that's not a productive or safe place to be. And I definitely couldn't be there with two young children. So
So like when we now as outsiders of the story imagine like your biggest pain, like you were there with your kids alone, no support, no help, nobody understanding. Like I can imagine that most people around you say, oh, divorce, I had the same, or like people overshadow that with easiness and don't take it serious, right?
yeah, or you'll get over it or you need to move on. And I had support. I have a wonderful family. They live 1,000 miles away. So my family had been her family here. So, you know, my immediate day-to-day family was my boys and my classroom really. But yeah, people want to see you better. So they'll say, you know, move on. And at that point, moving on would mean disregarding what had happened. It would mean burying it. It would mean not dealing with it. And personally, for me, that's not good because it'll come back, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like the darkness is it can be heaven and hell at one place. I don't know if you would agree. Like you can get very much inspired of that. But
Yes.
when you're down, when you're melancholy, and when you don't know how to oh, I just get like it flies in. I get something to drink.
Ooh.
So I just wonder what goes around here on my side, like if the cloud gets like feet and whatever. Um, so yeah, just by the way, guys, I'm very bad at multitasking, like reading comments and answer. I will try to find a slot to make this happen. So please make sure you mark your questions with a cloud or something so I can find them easier to answer you guys.
And I apologize. I do have the chat open, but I can't reach it to type out in the computer. So I apologize. But thank
Yeah.
you for being here, or you know, anyone who catches this in replay. If anything we say, just and oddly enough, I think many of the people that would watch this immediately are already artists, and I think we as artists, that's what being an artist is. We
Yes.
may not put the same words to it, but we're doing what we're talking about. And this hopefully anyone is creative. Children are creative.
Yes.
Just
Absolutely.
have to try and do it. And who cares what it comes out like at first? You start somewhere.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, no, I'm not crying. I had the same when I was on Jade's interview. I always like having something with my eye being wet. Like when we're in the woods, when we're in the darkness and we just like we go through pain, like I me as Cloudfighter, I would describe it like a heavy stone on your back and you can hardly breathe and you just try to reach something to get off that weight, but you have problems to find something to put off the weight. And then I mean, what did people do normal wise? They go to talk to other people to feel better, but mostly it doesn't help, right? Because you have the problems on your shoulders and they can take it out of there, right? They can say nice words to you, but the most thing is self-help. You have to take care yourself of the stress, right?
Yes, yeah, because it comes down to nobody's pain is worse than your own. Yeah, absolutely. People have been through way worse than most of us fortunately have been, but we only experience our own pain directly.
Yes.
So it is something that like an addiction, you have to want it to change because you have to be an active participant. It doesn't over time go away. Over time, you learn to cope, to deal. And there are things that, medication or therapy can definitely be part of this, or faith even. Opens the mind to, and I believe that's healing, especially when it's coupled with other things like we.
Oh my gosh. Warte mal, Moment. Der Zoom-Call ist raus. Ich habe gerade ein Riesenproblem.
Sind die 40 Minuten voll?
Ja, ich bin schon mal rausgegangen. Er lässt mich das aber nicht machen. Was mache ich jetzt?
Das war Zoom und nochmal neu starten.
Geht nicht. Habe ich schon 2-3 Mal versucht. Ich habe es gestartet, aber ich bin alleine dran. Man kann nichts mehr hören.
Dann leg auf und ruf ihn irgendwie nochmal an. Nicht Meeting verlassen?
Ja, doch, muss ich ja. Er ist ja auch rausgeflogen. Wir sind beide rausgeflogen.
Kann er jetzt wieder rein?
Nee, man hört ihn nicht.
Er ist ja noch nicht drin.
Naja,
Das ist nur das Bild. Er muss ja da in den Zoom-Call wieder reinhüpfen.
Scheiße. 𝗲𝗵𝘆 auf die ganze Zeit.
Bei Vollbild kam auch sein Ton nicht. Als du auf Vollbild bei ihm gemacht hast. Das
Ja,
heißt,
man hört ihn jetzt die ganze Zeit nicht. Okay.
𝗲𝗄 makes a live stream. Ha ha ha.
Cloud,
Yeah.
you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tried to understand. All I had was music, man, and music was my one night stand. The Alphatower of repressed situations. And now I'm sitting on my throne. If you can make it, man, then throw me out of my own throne. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Then throw me out of my own throne. Push play.
3, 2, 1.
want for today. Not good. Wait, guys, I will fix this. We have a problem with the Zoom call. See you in a couple of minutes back.
𝗕𝗍 makes a live stream. Ha ha ha.
Cloud,
Yeah.
you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tried to understand. All I had was music, man, and music was my one night stand. The Alphatower of depressed situations. And now I'm sitting on my throne. If you can make it, man, then throw me out of my own throne. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Then throw me out of my own throne. Push play.
3, 2, 1, go.
People in the chat.
Yeah.
𝗕𝗍.
My God, wait. We have it now. And I can find my microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Can the people in the chat hear me? I hope so, because
Let me ask. I'll type in and ask.
oh my God. So still delay, but we make it. But I think. Can you hear me in the chat?
I see a 1.
Yay?
It looks
Okay,
yes. I
good.
believe
Oh
so.
my God. So applause for the cloud making. So my husband is adjusting something. So this is the worst stream you ever saw in your life. Technical wise. So, and you can like, it's a perfect example for how fast things go wrong and demotivate people. And now everybody knows what 𝗔𝗲𝗽, Pete Johnson, Thomas Christ have for skills when they open their stream, right? Like you see at me, like I have no clue about OBS, and you see what happens, and everybody is live when we adjust things, and I get aggressive in the back and have my microphone on. So, so thanks to the cloud, it was a cloud moment. Like the cloud was live with us right now.
You know,
So-
we could just be really pro and say this was all planned.
Yeah, it was planned. We just want to show like an example of, you know, like what the cloud does. But
Yes,
yeah,
as a
that's-
teacher, you always use examples in your teaching. So yes.
Yeah, totally. Like the cloud. I mean, like to explain. Like before I made that stream, like since 2 years, everybody told me, Pi.A, go live, please go live, make a live concert. People want me to make a live stream concert. So easy for other people, but I'm scared as hell of that because I'm a video creator. I like to cut out what doesn't fit and like to put out the best moves and whatever, you know, and I never do it. My cloud always win that battle. And for a couple of weeks, I said, okay, you know, cloud, you can't stop me now. Like, I will not do a live show, whatever, right now. But what I do is to use that option here to create something good. And as you can see, that's cloud fighting. That's not giving up. And that's like, you know, just like keep on going. So
Let the sun shine in.
yes, and I think we were standard. The last point was like we were still in the woods in the dark, and we were on the point where people can't help us carry off that weight, right? So
Right.
you were there now with your 2 children, and you just wanted to find the light. So which thought, like, for sure you want to keep on going for your kids and like just to make it better, what kind of thought was like the total thought making you say, okay, now power, full power, I come out of my shell now?
Probably the first things that I have a friend who has a really nice home recording studio, and I drove, it's like 3 hours away. I drove up there the week after the divorce, and I hadn't played music in 9 months maybe before that. And I sat down and played, and luckily he had the tape rolling, because Stream of Consciousness, it's a song on my channel. It's called A Million Years, and everything came out. Everything that I had needed to get out, that I had been bottling up or didn't even know was there, just came out. And as I would listen back to that, it all of a sudden wasn't an end. It wasn't the end of everything. It was fodder. Yes, it was material. Yeah. It was a muse. It turned the trauma into my muse, and that's not to belittle trauma, and maybe I couldn't have done that if I had the trauma I've seen some people go through. You know, I don't know, but yeah, that power came not just from doing it, but from then listening back to it like 30, 40 times the next 2 days and being like, hey, this is all right. Which, you know, you listen to anything that much in that short of a time, you know, Yoko Ono sounds good after you listen to her 10 times in a day. But it made me have a purpose again, and a purpose more than my duty to my sons and my job, but a purpose to myself. And that was the light that I had lost. And people even said that. They said, you know, you've always been a light, and now it's like the light's gone out. And I think it's come back. I know I know later, I mean, we're talking 23 years later here, but I know, like, people watched when I was on Leela's campfire, and they just said, oh my God, you just seem like you just have fun. And I'm like, you know, yeah, I'm enjoying where I'm at in life right now. And there was a point where I couldn't imagine enjoying the next moment, let alone where I was in.
If you would have like a little spaceship, and you can now, with your Noah today, go back to that old you suffering from that divorce and stand in front of that old you, what would you say to that old you? Because you know what future will bring to you, but what would you say to that guy sitting on the floor, didn't know where to go, what to do?
I would probably say, don't listen to me, because you have to go through this yourself. There's nothing
Cloud
that I
moment.
say. You know, there's nothing that anybody, even your future self, would say to you at that moment, that unless it's coming from your present self, it's your perspective only can change from yourself in that moment. So I would probably I'd probably say, hey, can I listen to that song? Because saying anything to that present self would be counterproductive.
So after you found the light, so like then you have like the glimpse of the light, right? Like a little light you just found. How you make it overshine everything? Like how or what followed after that? You go into that studio, you find out music gives you value and gives you the light back. So what happens after that? Like for people maybe watching that video and didn't know that you're a musician. Just by the way, for everybody, he's a musician.
It's that metacognition. It's thinking about what you're thinking, and that's how I at least was able to change my perspective, by really thinking about what my perspective was on the way things were going and the way my life was, listening to my songs. And I'm a person of duty. It's just ingrained in me. So if I write a song and I say something in my song that I'm going to do, or a perspective I'm going to have, or the way I'm going to treat other people, I have to give in to my better angels and I have to follow that. So by listening to it enough, it almost programs me into a more positive perspective.
So, so you mean like spending time with your own thoughts and build something out of it makes you stronger. That's what
Yes.
I hear out,
Yes.
right? That's like
Exactly.
totally cloud fighting. Like I
Make,
remember
make,
when I was 11 years old, my cloud just pop up and say, "P.A, I just want to bother you your whole life," you know? And I was too young. I couldn't handle that. It ended in depression and PTSD. It ended in trauma. I carry a lot of traumas on my back still. But I managed somehow to live with that and just like it became like my obsession. I want to help people like having the same weight to just like go straight, you know, just like lift back up and just like say head high, hey, I'm me, like just my true me, and I'm proud of me, and I don't care about whatever others think. And I was 16 and I was in my children room. I don't know how to translate it. Like I in my room, and I really, it was so much. It was so much that I couldn't carry it anymore. And I opened that window and sit on it, and somehow like there was like an anchor. You know, I just couldn't jump. I couldn't do that. Like I just go back and was totally shocked about that I even go that far to think about it. And I was like, hey girl, there's something or so much wrong in your life. Like you have to change something, and still didn't have the power. And I remember I had a little diary and I wrote down P.A without the dot, like just Pi.A, the name. Just
Yeah.
wrote under, you will rescue me. And it became totally real now. But
Yes.
with the dot, like, you know, like the
Yeah,
dot in
yeah.
between. Like P.A was born out of
Create
that.
our own reality. And
Yes.
actually everybody creates their own reality. And there are circumstances, absolutely, that come into play. But when it comes to our perspective, that's our reality, you know? And I think we see that more than ever in today's world, at least
Yes.
here in America, that people's perspective is reality for them. And we have people that have very different perspectives and have very different realities, or believe there are very different realities from one
Yeah, for
another.
sure. For example, Los Angeles, you see the rich people on the one side, and you walk like, what I heard. I never was there. You walk 10 meters, and then you have the very poor living under the bridge, and you have like both combined. Like you see that poorness, but you walk by with owning everything what you maybe didn't need right now. You didn't need the newest iPhone. You didn't need that big fancy house or whatever you have. Like you don't need to be rich and famous, but you walk by just being that rich and you don't care, right? You don't turn around and say, dude, do you want to eat something? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Like I would do that. I wouldn't walk by without saying a thing, you know, and that's what
Or you
society.
blame them, or when it's really not your reality and it's so different that
Yeah.
you actually blame rather than trying to help. And
Yes, yes, indeed, and that's why I blame society for everything. Like I'm in that point. That's the only point in my life where I'm ego. I'm ego. Like you know, I don't care. Like if it's the reality of the whole world or whatever. I think the media manipulation, like the standards we have for who's beautiful enough to be, I don't know, on a magazine cover, or who's talented enough to have the most Spotify, whatever. But when you look behind the scenes, these people are not even talented, not even skilled, and just like making millions of dollars and spending them to get plastic surgery for whatever. Like when you see that wheel, and I don't know how it was in your childhood, but in mine, I was MTV brainwashed. I would say it's a disease because I saw people with fancy hair, and I want to have that fancy hair as well. It was the money of my parents I go spend for bullshit. Because when you get older, you don't want to have that fancy hair because it's no part of your real character, right? Like you get influenced by everything which you don't need because the machine behind it's only for music production and money production, and it's all about that. But you just get like that fake picture. Oh, I'm a punk when I have pink hair, you know. When I'm dressing black, oh, I'm a goth. Like to be said, I like goth people, but I'm no goth and still wearing black. So you can be yourself and don't have to like follow a look or whatever. But that's what the media does to us with the magazines and with the music. And still have people around me thinking they're punk or whatever, but they aren't. They're still human, you know, just like trying to be fancy and whatever. Like when you're no tattoo artist, you don't have to be fancy because it's not your job to be. Like it's what I think. How was it in your childhood? Was it the same? Was there a brainwashing machine next to you?
The older I get, and after I had my own children, I look back and I was so blessed to have the parents that I had, because we didn't have cable. So when MTV came out, I knew of it, and I had friends who had it, and I could. But we didn't have cable, so we didn't have MTV in the house.
Wow!
And yeah,
lucky.
And then
You're a lucky one.
And then I went to college, and I moved away from home 1,000 miles. I had a lot of growing up to do and wanted to do it my own way. And ironically, it turned out to be the way my parents said. Well, but so anyways, I had to learn on my own. And, I didn't have the budget to have cable TV. So I really didn't start watching MTV or have access to watch MTV regularly until it kind of wasn't doing music anymore.
Yeah, right. That was totally like VMAs. I talked about that in Jade's interview as well. Like the VMAs nowadays on Paramount Plus, which nobody knows. I didn't know it. I only know it as app. I didn't know that it's a regular channel on your side of the world.
Yep.
But it's more show than everything else. When I see these women being awarded there, and I'm not talking about like the icons like Beyonce or whatever. These people have talent. They have their right to be there. They just do it like the regular way. But people having autotune in it for 100%, didn't write the lyrics by themselves, and they go there into that shows and get an award for what? Excuse me, for what? No talent, no own production. And then when you see that, like the real fact behind that machine, you come into that conclusion that it's fake. But younger people think it's real. I thought it was real when I was 16. I was like, wow, you have to be like them. You have to look like them. And I just started to look totally crazy into crazy stuff. And always when TRL was like on German TV, I recorded it and rewatched it and was so magnetized by that. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Good that you didn't have that. That in your time it was a music channel, right?
Right. And even though I didn't watch a lot of it, I do have to admit, in 1980, late 80, when John Lennon was murdered, the next day I did cut my hair to look like the early Beatles style.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. My mom freaked out. But I looked like George Harrison in 1964. So I have to admit, I did do that, even though we didn't have MTV blaring in our faces. But
I mean, having an icon, I think there's a difference in between if you have an icon or if you admire something. But I mean, like I don't know, people knowing like the time where I grew up with the magazines, like in Germany, you have like a couple of magazines for music stuff, which are totally influenced by hip hop, and you just start hating it or loving it, and that makes these people rich, like everybody's being iconic these days, lives off the money people in my age give to them, like when we were 16. And something makes me sad because there's so many people out there could need that money more. Like, for example, the things going on in Turkey right now, the people are in very, very big danger. I have family in between.
I was just going to say, do you still have family in Turkey?
Yes, I have a sister. She's officially my only family next to my husband. That's why I wrote family theater. I really don't have much family, but there's part of my family which I never could met because it's very far away. Turkey is a very big country, like from Istanbul to İskenderun, like the place where now the earthquakes and everything happen. It's over 10 hours between, so it's very far away, and that's why I could never visit this part. But I have a cousin there, and she sleeps the nights in a car because she is afraid to come to the next earthquake because it's still ongoing. It's like lower levels, but still there. And I wonder now, the people having that money, like, where are you guys? Why didn't you support? We make you guys bigger. We give you that money. We give you that fame. We made you, and why didn't you support things like that? You show, like, I mean, these people show us how fancy houses they have and how much plastic surgery they can afford, and like things now where really money is needed, where people dying, nobody's willing to help, or like only local or organizations are helping, right? And countries. But the people we made big with giving them our money, nothing to hear of them because it's not fitting into their agenda, I think. Like, doesn't bring money. So
it's then, it's hard for people when things aren't their reality to truly have empathy. And that's a human skill that we need to improve on as humans.
So, talking about bad influences, what was your best influence you ever had in your life, which you maybe think of often when you make music yourself?
The best influences I had in my life were my mom and my dad. They weren't musicians, although they did require all of us children to take lessons. And at the time, my mom agreed to take piano lessons because she was making us take lessons. And my dad, we did give him a guitar for Christmas that year in 1975, but he didn't play. He worked full time. So they don't necessarily influence, my musical composition as how I build a song, but they have influenced my perspective and my life and what I believe in more than anything else. So that coming through in my music, I would give them credit as being my biggest influence then.
Did they influence you on the musical way as well, like with playing certain songs when you were a kid, which positively?
I did. Yeah, I did snag there, and they didn't listen to a lot of music other than like AM radio in the car, but they had a couple of albums, and one of them was Meet the Beatles, and it was the mono, the big thick mono ones from probably 64, 65. And so when I got a little record player and didn't have many records, I grabbed that one and that became mine. So
you have very cool parents, really. Like who's playing Beatles at home, like totally. Like I wish to have like now this applause button, which other people have. Pretty cool. Like, I mean,
well, my parents would have graduated high school in 61 and 63. So they were teenagers at that time. But it's funny because growing up thinking, oh, my parents grew up in the 60s, I can remember doing my paper route one Sunday. My dad was driving me around because it was bad weather. And he worked in a machine shop. And there were a number of guys at the shop that were going to a concert that weekend. And this was like 1978. And he said, have you ever heard of this band called the Grateful Dead? I was like, yeah, you hadn't, but people that were of that age who like became parents and started raising a family in 1965 aren't necessarily, when we think of 1960s, the hippies, they were kind of more that, happy days kind of lifestyle, because that's what they were doing, was raising a family. But yeah,
But
that
it was real music. Like I don't know. I like music from that time very much. I like Jimi Hendrix a lot, but I'm not quite sure. I think he comes a little later. But I love this dude. He had skills.
yes,
Like back
yes.
then it was about having skills, and yeah, for sure smoking weed and whatever, like to do Woodstock and all that things, but it was cool. Like it has something, and I can totally understand that people hype about that and just follow that and try to be hippie, like I would be hippie when I would grow up in that time, and I would totally scream out yeah and whatever on the concerts. I know how our watchers feel about it, because I'm so bad in multitasking. Again, I'm so sorry. I try to read
I don't
everything.
think I could have gotten naked in the mud, but I would have enjoyed going to Woodstock, but not getting naked in the mud. No.
No, naked. I'm not quite sure about naked, because naked is a thing. Some people you want to see naked. Some people you really don't want to see. Like you want to
I
just
don't.
like blur it out.
I don't need to see myself even naked, so that's fine.
But I think naked is a good topic to describe cloud fighting. Like
See how it all comes together like it was planned.
yeah, like it's a puzzle. You can adapt cloud fighting to everything, like your job, your childhood, your trauma, your I don't know relationship. It's a life brain function to regain power, and when it comes like to naked, like soul naked, I think this is something much people can't do with their self, like standing in front of a mirror and say, hey, like for example, blue hair. I always wanted to have blue hair or whatever. And you stand in front of that mirror and say to yourself, no, I can't wear that. It's only for punks or whatever. And then after you fight that dude here, who's not invited to today's stream, the Cloud, but he still entered, like, he still made it, still came here. We'll have to talk with this Cloud later of mine. You yeah, I visualize this guy for me, like for me it's a speaking cloud. Like I really mean that. Like nobody else can see him, nobody else can hear him, but he's always above my head trying to tell me some stuff, like you can't do that, you're not good enough. And I just battle against, and just always overcome it and try to make it better.
Mine's like a ghost.
Yeah.
My cloud is like a ghost that is behind me, looking over my shoulder.
Yeah,
And
like the shadow
can feel
self,
it
right?
there.
Like just like that the hands are like in a horror movie, and just like I would choke
Right,
you in a
right,
couple of seconds right now.
right, right. And I think, that's to me what the cloud fighting is all about, is not letting that cloud or that ghost or whatever control you, but make it work for you instead. You take
Yes.
control. And it's amazing because this is something artists do. And I was just making notes before this that there are three artists that came to mind right away with songs. There's Nolan at Nolan12. She has a song 40 years. And she says, I have grown, I have gone, I can wear my broken crown.
Wow. That
French
hits
music.
deep. Like me, always kind of things always hit me deep. I will always listen to that. So you can name all of them right now. We can link them in the description box, because I'm so scared to play a video right now, because I can imagine that everything else will not work after that. I prepared a scene for that video playing, but I will not risk it. I mean,
No. People can check these out.
yeah.
I mean, and I bet you a lot of people already know these too. Like Frank Turzo, his song Broken. He has a line in there, choices made, they haunt me. For years, they kept me down. Today, I choose to face them. Or from Vero's new album, there's a song Trust. And it's perfect. Trust is me telling the truth. Trust is me not being afraid. Trust is about me. It's not about you. Trust is making myself, not me being made. trust in yourself.
Amazing, really. I mean, applause like in a manual, like because I think most musicians are cloud fighters and didn't know that about themselves. Like the most beautiful music tracks are inspired by pain, like personal pain, life pain, situation pain. Like Pink Floyd's most tracks are inspired by the darkness of society, right? Like everything. Like when I remember that track they made for like the Berlin Wall, like with that scissors walking, and it hits deep. It's inspired by pain, by real pain, and I think that every musician can relate to that. Like pain is a great inspiration. You can write so much out of it.
Even joy.
Yeah, joy.
A reaction to not having pain. So, pain.
Yeah, pain is always like the mind map, like in the middle, and everything goes out of that, like family, friends, whatever bothers us. And I will totally like support, guys. After that live stream, please go check out that songs named here. Just leave a like, support these artists, especially Frank and Vero and everybody, and the most Folkpunk, because you are a real cloud fighter. I mean, I can read in between the lines. I can make that. And I go last week to a place in Berlin where I saw a little girl sitting, and I saw her cloud. I really could see it in front of my eyes. And as you all know, I'm scared. I'm an introvert. I don't like to go directly, but I put on the camera, I go to her and ask her if she had a cloud, and I will show you all that video next week. But you can see it. You can see the cloud of other people, and you can see how these people lift up when you tell them they have a cloud. And I recognized your growth, like the first Pi.A track you listen to, and then it goes on, and I just said, okay, this is a cloud fighter. Nobody else can read this deep between the lines. Like, that most people think this girl is crazy. Pi.A makes crazy music. She's bouncing. It's not about that. It's about dancing away the pain. It's about giving value. It's about lifting people up, especially younger people, being alone like I was as a child, and just like to grab them and say, hey, I'm like you. I know how you are, and you do that. You can read between the lines. Means you have the cloud fighter's eyes, You can hear that, and I appreciate this so much, because it's hard to find people having the honesty to themselves to say, hey, I have a cloud, because most people deny that they have one. They go out, they just buy stuff they don't need, they talk like they don't, like other people make them like them, just like speak in a different language to be, oh yeah, I just do that too, and just lying to themselves 24 hours. You don't do that, right? You're just honest to you, and where so much power and so much esteem, it needs esteem to share a story so personal like you did, and I really appreciate this, and I'm so excited what comes next from you. Your track Birds. Your track Birds really hits deep. It's a wonderful track. It's bringing you through the journey. It's really amazing, and I will link that too, and hope everybody give this video and the channel of Folkpunk please a like. You have here a real pro cloud fighter in front of you. And Zoom really wants to get us today. It wanna makes us worse today. I think you have the pop-up window right now too, that we have 10 minutes left. So we will not tease everybody to wait again and hear me aggressive in the back how I want to adjust it, So guys, for everybody wanting to become a cloud fighter and be able to sit like us, calm in our Alphatowers, and talk about pain without starting to cry, without looking melancholy and like energyless. I think we look very bold, and I think we look like wealthy and mentally strong, and that's all because of pain. So It's no shame to say I'm in pain. It's no shame to say I'm in need. It's a shame to deny it, I would say. And with that words, I would like to close our Fireplace Alphatower meeting for today. Thank you, Folkpunk. Thanks to everybody being here today. It's so
Trust
much
in yourself.
appreciation for everybody. I will reread the chat now because I'm no multitasking person, and I will answer you all. I'm sorry for that. And next stream, I will try to make things a little more professional, but I think I need the help of Pete, Jade, and Thomas to make this work better. And I will see and hear you all later, soon. And can't wait of your new release. You bring out a new release, right? I have to listen to it now. I couldn't do it, and I will totally go in and stay strong.
It fit right in with what we've been talking about.
yeah. I just saw it. I was like, wow, the man brings out a song a couple of hours before we go live. He's wow, full power, you know, just like, and
Funny how it happened with that.
yeah, how did he make it? Like, I was like, and I will do this now. Thank you all. Stay strong, and don't forget to fight this idiot. He's following you around. You can give him a name. My one has the 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝘆 as name, and yeah, hopefully he will not appear today again. So you saw him live today with us. So Folkpunk, have a great evening. See and hear you soon. And to everybody else, stay cloud free. So bye.